What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Crew 2, and in this video I'm going to go over my top 2 powerboats on the game here. So this is also going to be one of those classes I have been noticing basically show up in almost every single summit, whether it's like a skill and or an event. So having good boats for each thing is definitely going to be insanely important. So there's not going to be a lot of powerboats on the Crew 2. There's actually only going to be 7 of these in the game, and I would say some of these most players are most likely never going to actually use, while some of these are actually going to be insanely good and or kind of underrated. But jumping right into this, guys, starting off here with my second overall pick is going to be the Vector V40R. What's kind of insane is I have been using the Vector V40R basically since this game has come out. I started using this thing pretty early on because I really love the way that this thing did handle. And I was like, you know what, I really do think this Vector is going to be a great boat for like skills like the buoy smashing and or slaloms. And well, guys, it does turn out this boat is going to be an insanely good option for those. Now, if you really wanted to, you could probably use this thing on races as well, but to be honest, I normally would just use this thing on skills, and I do have a preferred boat for races. I will jump into that one here in a couple of minutes, but the Vector V40R I do feel like is going to have a lot of advantages, and to some people, it also might have some disadvantages as well, which I would say it's going to be the twitchiness of the handling, and that's probably one of my favorite things about this boat though, because when you guys are doing a slalom, you can easily rotate back and forth and grab those checkpoints easily, and the boat's really not going to be fighting you all that much. Plus, it's also going to be pretty dang fast as well. I noticed this boat really doesn't struggle as much as I thought it was going to when actually trying to get up to speed. And not only can you actually control the boat at higher speeds, but it's also going to be a lot easier to handle, which even though it might be kind of twitchy in some areas, which I have noticed if you guys do want to do like tight corners, you can normally feel the slight twitchiness of this boat at slower speeds, but I really don't think that's going to hurt it. And in some ways, guys, like when you're doing like the buoy smashing, I think that really tight, like twitchy handling is actually going to be insanely good to grab all the buoys and actually get around a lot easier. I noticed some boats like even the Offshore Mark II or some of these other boats don't feel as good going slow, and they might feel kind of twitchy but not in a good way, which is kind of interesting. They also don't feel like they can actually turn on a tight radius like the Vector V40R, which is also why this boat is going to remain one of my favorites, because you can actually turn this thing very tightly and it does it easily as well. Plus you can get up to speed pretty nicely. And as I did mention before, you can easily use this boat on races if you guys would like to. I was testing it out a little bit to see what it can do, and it's easily going to be fast enough. But I would say a lot of people are most likely going to prefer another boat that I'm not going to mention its name at the moment. But if you guys are on search for like a boat that can basically do every single skill like slaloms and or buoy smashing with some occasional racing, I would definitely recommend taking a look at the Vector V40R. I feel like in some ways this boat is slightly underrated because I do not see many people run it, and I really do feel like this boat deserves another look because it's going to be that good. And now moving over to my number 1 overall pick is probably not going to be that shocking to many people. The 1414 Demon is by far going to be one of the best powerboats in the entire game. And my goodness, guys, I would also say this boat might actually be like a jack of all trades, because I have been seeing a lot of people running this thing on slaloms as well. But for me, I would say the 1414 Demon is most likely going to be my favorite boat for racing and or doing like escapes and stuff as well, because this 1414 is so dang fast. If you guys do have a Nitro Chemist set, this boat can actually do like over 220 miles per hour. It's honestly kind of insane, and it really does keep its speed up insanely good as well. Now, do keep in mind, guys, yes, this boat can do 200 plus miles per hour, but it's not going to be able to hold speeds like that unless you guys are using your nitrous. So a Nitro Chemist set on the 1414 Demon is most likely going to be a must. I feel like it's going to make this boat that much better, and obviously trying to farm some of these races on the game, I have been noticing the powerboat events, for some odd reason, seem to be insanely annoying, at least depending on the one you do actually want to do. I was testing the boat out on some of the events, guys, and even with a Nitro Chemist set, I was still having issues beating some of these AI, which I do not understand. I need whatever these dudes are running in their boats, my goodness, but regardless, guys, with a Nitro Chemist set, I would say easily the Demon is going to be the fastest boat in the game. Now, even though I do prefer to use this boat on races and stuff and like summits and or just racing in general, I have been noticing you can also use this boat in a lot of the different skills if you guys would like to. I would definitely say the 1414 is going to be the best option for escapes, but if you guys do want to use this boat on like these slaloms as well, I notice it does just a fine job. It really doesn't struggle that much and or have issues with it. I guess I do prefer how the Vector feels when doing the slaloms, but either way guys, in summits you can still get a maxed out score with either one of these boats. Even when it comes to something like the buoy smashing, I have been noticing more people running the Demon. I would say guys, I don't think this is going to be the best option for the buoy smashing though, only because I'm not the biggest fan of how this boat is going to feel when trying to like maneuver it at slower speeds. I would say the Vector V40R is going to be a better option for like buoy smashing, but I also would say the 1414 Demon is by far going to be a better option for racing. This is also why I would recommend buying the 1414 Demon and the Vector V40R. That way you guys are going to have a boat that can not only do racing and or escapes, but you're also going to have a boat that can do a lot of the slaloms and or the buoy smashing as well. That way you guys can easily compete in the summits and get a high score. And you can also have your settings on both boats so that way you don't actually have to change them. I do want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Which powerboat is going to be your favorite and why? And here are the settings I'm running on the 1414 Demon and the Vector V40R.